going to be huge economic windfall. You look at just the initial kind of round of cannabis businesses on the production, processing, retail side. I mean, you're looking at billions and billions. You look at ancillary businesses around that, you're looking at billions more. We are into something that is true and real and structured and regulated and accountable, and we're going to own it like professionals, because everyone has to acclimatize this. It's not just people who love cannabis that get to enjoy cannabis. The whole community is affected by it. So legalization on October 17th was day one of a very, very big project that we're all involved with now to make this what we want it to be.
This is a Health Canada regulated and approved facility. If you look at lean manufacturing, the number of touches and the flow that this facility was designed with is really amazing. Like, this is exactly what you want. So we live in a technological age right now. There's more technology, more integration. Everything is tied in. If something goes wrong in a flowering room or in your drying room or even in your hallway, you're gonna have a system that's gonna be emailing or texting the master gardener or the pick to let them know that there's a problem. All of these boxes you see all over the place, they're all tied into a central hub, so that means that everything can be controlled from your phone. Facilities like this will be pumping out quads, which is the highest grade cannabis that you can get.
I believe the future of cannabis is firmly set in the science and education that we put into it. And so now we have the opportunity to develop new technologies and information on best practices, new strains, new techniques, taking things out of the shadows of how it has been done for the last 30 to 40 years, and now applying real technological applications in advancing it. One of the main technologies that we've developed here is our cannabis tissue culture micropropagation. These certified stock would be verified, disease-free, insect-free, sterile mother plants that you could use. This particular tray is actually a cross that we came up with in-house. It's a high CBD cross. But if you look at any one of these, they're very robust, easy to transport, and they abide by what's called phytosanitary regulations. Everything that's involved in this gel is all the plant needs to survive minus the light. And this, rather than seed, is going to be one of the easiest things to start a facility with. We also make our nutrients here in the lab for now, and we do a number of molecular tests that go along with that. This is sort of where I have fun in the back end of the lab. I'm able to detect, determining in the plant material if we have various genes, say different cannabinoids, CBD, THC, CBG, or various terpenes. So we look for myrcene, limonene, citronine, linalool, lots of different things in those contexts that people are looking for breeding, as well as verification what they have in their actual plant material. So under different treatments, say if we're using different nutrient programs, different lighting, different pot size, different training mechanisms, we can look at that and determine how many genes of interest have been turned on or not. And that can help us steer to determine what are the best practices over others. So we use a lot of this as sort of a robust means to get the hard information that we need on the decisions that we have sort of hearsay to go off of for now. You can ask people how to grow, but do they really have the hard science on it? Not much yet. So we're really trying to work on developing that.
So this facility currently has what I like to think of a higher level of security, because you can pull in a full-size vehicle and you're doing your product transfer in behind closed doors. Here we have security layouts that we designed coming into the 3 different categories of our CCTV monitoring layout, our door access control layout, and our intrusion layout. It starts as an onion approach. We try and design it into layers. First layer being a perimeter fencing, whether that be our doors, motion detectors, wall vibration seismic sensors. These are all layers of the onion that we design into our security. We have done above and beyond what is required, because we're looking at longevity of this business And we want to make sure that we've done everything in our post-construction phases to minimize the cost of expansion or license changing in the future. LPs, they've been kind of the forefront. They've taken the brunt of the changes and basically the government learning about the industry and them having to adapt, to what's realistic and what's not. So when we come into the micro licensing, basically you're not stipulated as to having these stringent security measures like they do with the LPs. And with your compliance end, it's knowing what the government wants.
I have a great passion to help micro cultivators get licensed, basically because for the last 30 years, they've been marginalized by law that shouldn't really have existed in the first place. So I want to see them have a place in this industry that they deserve. We help with the consulting package. We work with landowners to find leasing opportunities. We work with financiers to find financing opportunities. We work with equipment leasers so that we can minimize the stress involved in obtaining a Health Canada micro-cultivation license. There's a number of steps that a cultivator has to take in order to become Health Canada compliant. They don't have to be done in any particular order, but they all have to be done in order to be compliant. And it takes a few things that are critical. A viable production site, the money to set up that production site, the team to run that production site, the documentation to fulfill Health Canada. So that's a security plan, business plan, SOP deck. You need a GPP report, which is a good production practices report that summarizes all that documentation. Once you have those things, you're ready to submit your application. 30 days after, you should expect to receive a letter requesting an evidence package. This is a video walkthrough of your facility. Within 60 to 90 days after that, you will have your micro-cultivation license. One thing that we get a lot of questions from people that we talk with in the field is, who am I going to sell my product to, or how am I going to sell my product? You need to sell your product to either a micro-processing facility who can process up to 600 kilograms a year, or a standard processor. When you work with a company like 420 Consulting, who has a relationship with BC Craft Supply, we have a buyer for you. We have what's called a supply agreement. So this supply agreement gives the cultivator a guaranteed purchaser of their products at fair market value. And it's done in what's called a right of first refusal deal. And this deal basically says that whatever product you produce, you need to provide to BC Craft Supply, and they will give you a price for that product. If for some reason you don't like that price, you're more than welcome to take that offer and go to another processor and receive an offer from them. BC Craft then has the option to match that offer, or you're free to then go sell it to that other processor. It's a really good relationship, and it really allows the cultivators to have a guaranteed buyer, which gives them a lot of peace of mind.
When we design a building, you're getting, all your exterior walls, your interior walls, your joists if you have a second level, and your roof trusses. So you're getting a finished product, which is customized to exactly how you guys want to do the layout. Once we have that finalized computer model, that software then communicates with all of our machines that we have here. So it'll literally deploy the different machines, the different parts that they have to make. The steel goes through the machine, all of the fabricating, cutting, tooling, everything that has to happen to take that stick and actually make it a part of what we call a superstructure happens at the machine end.
So the first thing we do actually is we get the steel in as a coil, and it has all the properties on a mill cert. Then the steel is fed into the machine. All of the files are on a digital level, sent over to the machine by Wi-Fi. It's a map. It shows all of the different parts and how it goes together, so it's done perfectly. If it's not put together right, it won't go together right. That's how we know it's perfect every time, down to a 64th of an inch. What we'll do is we'll take this panel, flip it, screw the other side, then the cranes will lift it up to keep everything safe. Move it over. As you see, it gets all organized and stacked over there. Throw a barcode on it so it can be tracked all the way downstream at all the points: storage, delivery, and install, which are all important parts, so you follow the map and know where it is and where it has to be. So each bundle has a location in the building so that it can be put in the right way in order. and then we can make sure we have what needs to show up on site at the right time in the right place so that it all happens smoothly. Health Canada compliance and speed is really our biggest value.
You look at the national equation or the international opportunity, it's going to be tremendously valuable for people to take a look at the regulated market sooner rather than later, because to build up the capacity and scale to get to a point to meet that market demand is going to take a lot of time and effort and strategy to get there, and a team around you. It's a quantum leap rather than just an incremental gain. And you need both in a market, because you need the incremental gains to substantiate and stabilize. But the real growth and the opportunity, I think, can really come from the imagination of our community, because they've really had to make it up as they go.